Hey there, and welcome. When you're just starting out in sales, it can totally feel like everybody else is in on some big secret. But what if it's not a secret at all? What if it's just a skill? And, like any skill, it's something you can absolutely learn. Today, we're going to unlock that beginner's guide, giving you the real foundation you need to not just get by, but to actually do great. Let's jump in.
So what is the big secret, right? That one magic line that just gets a yes every single time? Well, here's the truth. There isn't one. Real success in sales isn't some magic trick, it's a journey. And the good news is, there's a map. Today, we're going to walk through that map together, step by step.
So our map has 4 main stops. First, we're going to cover the most essential step, how to find the right people to talk to in the first place. Then we'll get into crafting a pitch that actually makes them listen. After that, we dive into the moment of truth, how to handle those objections and turn a maybe into a solid yes. And finally, we'll talk about why the real success actually starts after the deal is closed.
All right, let's kick things off right at the beginning. Before you can sell a single thing, you have to know who you're selling to, right? This first part is absolutely crucial. If you get this right, trust me, everything that follows gets a whole lot easier.
First up, let's talk about a word you're going to hear all the time: prospecting. Think of this as your detective work. You're not just throwing stuff at a wall to see what sticks. You're actively on the hunt, looking for clues, identifying the right people, and making sure they're a good fit for what you've got.
And then you've got its partner in crime, lead generation. So if prospecting is you going out to find people, lead generation is kind of like setting up a giant, powerful magnet. It's all about using different strategies to attract interested people and have them come directly to you.
So let's put it simply. Prospecting is you, the hunter, actively seeking people out. Lead generation is you, the trapper, setting things up so people come to you. You've got hunting and you've got trapping. And honestly, any really great sales strategy needs both of these working together perfectly.
Okay, so you did it. You found a potential customer. Now what? You've probably got just a few moments of their attention. This is where we shift gears from finding them to actually persuading them. It is time to craft that perfect pitch.
And this quote, it really hits the nail on the head. Your presentation is so much more than a list of features. It's the story you're telling. It's how you solve their problem. If you get it right, you're the hero. But if you get it wrong, you're just another forgotten email. No pressure, right?
So what makes a presentation really work? First, you've got to know your audience. Do your homework so you're speaking their language. Second, focus on the benefits. Don't just tell them what your product does. Tell them what it does for them. Huge difference. Third, tell a story. People connect with and remember stories way more than a list of facts. And finally, always end with a clear call to action. Never ever leave them guessing, okay, what now?
So you've just given an amazing presentation, and then you hear it. The but. This next part is where a lot of new salespeople get tripped up, but it's also where the pros really start to shine. Let's talk about turning objections into a yes.
This word can feel like hitting a brick wall. It sounds like a no, like a total rejection. It can be super intimidating, and your first instinct might be to argue or get defensive. But what if we looked at it in a completely different way?
What if an objection isn't a no, but actually a tell me more? It's a sign they're engaged. It's a request for more information. It's your chance to clear things up and build even more trust. An objection doesn't mean the conversation is over. It means they're actually paying attention.
So how do you grab this opportunity? It's really a simple 3-step dance. First, just listen. Really listen. Don't just wait for your turn to talk. Figure out what their actual concern is. Second, be empathetic. A simple "I totally get why you'd see it that way" can change the entire mood. And third, be ready. If you've done your homework, you have a confident, helpful answer ready to go.
Okay, once you've handled the objections, it's go time. You might want to create a little bit of urgency. Maybe there's a special offer. Do one final check to see if they have any other questions. And then, and this is the big one, you have to actually ask for the sale. Be direct, be clear, and be confident about it.
Now, sometimes closing that deal involves a little bit of negotiation, and this is so important. This is not a battle. The goal here isn't to win. It's about working together to find that perfect middle ground, that sweet spot where both you and the customer feel like you've gotten a really great value.
So here's your negotiation toolkit. It all starts with preparation. Know your goals, but more importantly, understand their goals. As you're talking, always bring the focus back to the value, not just the price tag. Keep a positive attitude. And here's the real game changer. You have to be willing to walk away. Knowing you can walk away from a bad deal gives you an incredible amount of power.
You did it. You closed the deal. That is awesome. Congratulations. But hey, don't pack up and leave just yet. The absolute best salespeople know that this isn't the finish line. Nope, this is actually a brand new starting line.
And this is a really crucial mindset shift. You have to move from thinking about a one-time transaction to a long-term partnership. Why? Because a happy customer is your absolute best source for more business, for amazing referrals, and for honest feedback that helps you get better.
And that's where the follow-up becomes your superpower. Just a simple check-in to make sure they're happy with everything, that goes a long, long way. It shows you genuinely care, and that builds real trust. And when you ask for feedback, you make them feel heard, and you learn how to improve. This is how you turn one sale into a dozen more down the road.
We've basically gone through the entire sales journey, right? From that first hello all the way to building a lasting partnership. So now, let's lock all this in with a few final ideas for really mastering this stuff. Think of these as the habits that turn everything we've talked about today into consistent, real-world success.
First, you have to practice, relentlessly. Confidence doesn't come from reading about something, it comes from doing it over and over. Second, always remember you're building relationships, not just processing transactions. People buy from people they know, like, and trust. Third, get tough. Rejection is gonna happen. It's just part of the game. See it as data to learn from, not a personal failure. And finally, be your own coach. Set really specific goals. Track how you're doing, because what gets measured is what gets improved.
So there you have it. That's the map. Those are the core skills to get you started on your sales journey, all the way from finding a prospect to building a long-term relationship. We've laid it all out. The only question left is, where are you going to take that first step?